What's up? Welcome to the live stream tonight. My name is Alexander Medeiros. I also go by Wi-Fi Gospel. Tonight we're going to be debating atheism. As you can see above, it says, under atheism, humans have no knowledge or moral responsibility. Obviously, if this is true, then atheism can't be true because we do have knowledge. To say that we do not have knowledge is actually a contradiction. So I'm just looking for some opponents tonight who want to come and debate this prompt. So if you're watching and you're an atheist and you want to debate this prompt, go ahead and go to join.wifigospel.com and you'll pop up in the StreamYard and we can talk about it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Let's see here. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Cool, I was just checking the audio there. What's up, guys? If you are an atheist and you want to chat about the prompt I have up, go ahead and hit this link here. I'm going to pin that. I got to update TikTok Studio. Great. Bear with me while I find some people to debate here. YouTube's starting off a little slow. So we're going to go ahead and pop open TikTok, see what happens. Again, we are looking for some atheists if you're an atheist. And you think that under atheism you can have knowledge and or moral responsibility, come on up. Let's talk about it. Yes, I am a Christian. Excuse me. Just installing TikTok Live here. Haven't used the studio in a while, so I'm not sure if I'll even be able to go live on there, but we'll see. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Hey, I'm just wow. Wait. That's interesting. So, what's up, ALC? ALC, did you know that on TikTok Studio now, they let you go live still, but they take away your ability to do like a virtual camera if you haven't been live in a while? That's weird. there any way around this? Unlock virtual camera by going live on Live Studio 3 more times for 25 minutes each. Mobile live streams do not count. Validation may take up to 48 hours. Yeah, it used to be like you just had to do a certain amount of mobile streams and then you would get it, but all right, looks like we're not doing TikTok. Hmm. Oh, unless watch. I got a way around it. I got a way around it. It's gonna look a little weird, but it'll work. Wouldn't Platonic atheism as a worldview work against tag? I don't think it would. Could talk about it. But this prompt isn't the transcendental argument. This is just purely talking about atheism. Let's see if this works. A camera source is required. Why? Okay, there we go. Let's see. And good to see you, ALC. God bless you too, brother. All right, we're live on TikTok. That worked. Do we not have access to multi-guest now? Don't want to play together. Oh, no, we do. We're good. Dude, I haven't been live on TikTok in months, so we'll see who shows up. All right, we do have one guest. I'm gonna pull him up in a second here. One minute. Hello, Brenda.
Good afternoon,
How are you?
evening, whatever it may be.
It's evening. It's 10 o'clock my time right now, PM.
9 p.m. here in Central Standard Time, Minnesota.
Nice. What up, schoolboy? Thank you for the gift. Oops. All right, cool.
So you're making the claim that humans have no knowledge and no moral responsibilities. Go ahead
Under
and present
atheism.
your go ahead and present your case.
Yeah, so starting with knowledge. I would say that you have to have some form of knowledge that is infallible in order to have knowledge at all. And that if you can't provide a source of infallible knowledge, you wouldn't be able to have any knowledge at all, basically. So
Okay.
under atheism, how would you have any source of infallible knowledge?
So to steelman that back to you, in order to have knowledge, you have to have infallible knowledge. Is that right?
At least one thing that you know infallibly correct.
Right. So if you were an atheist, how would you criticize that?
If I was an atheist, how would I criticize that?
Yeah. The
By
claim
becoming
is
a
the claim.
Christian.
No, that wouldn't refute it.
No, I know I wouldn't be able to, which is I would at least
So
give up my atheism.
so you would be unable to criticize the claim that on atheism, to have knowledge, you must have infallible knowledge. You can't criticize that?
As an atheist, no.
Huh.
That's why I'm not an atheist.
Huh. So you can't see any possible way of making a critique, making any kind of a counter argument, attempting at a reductio or attempting to show
What up,
a
Omar?
formal fallacy. There's no fallacies in that. In order to have knowledge, you have to have infallible knowledge. There's no fallacious reasoning in there.
Would you like to make an argument?
No, you don't see anything like that in there.
Would you like to point something out? Where are we going here?
Uh, you don't know. You don't know. I'm sort of surprised.
So you take it that in order to have knowledge, it doesn't have to be infallible?
Do you think that there's no logical fallacy in the statement that in order to have knowledge, you have to have knowledge?
What?
That's what you're saying. In order to have knowledge, you have to have knowledge. That's your claim, and you can't understand how that might be fallacious,
Well, I mean,
right?
what you just said was a tautology, but I don't think that's my claim.
It's not a tautology.
Well, I mean, you're just repeating the same thing twice, which is not what I did.
Right? Yeah, it is,
Okay,
but it's
so
not a
when did I say
tautology.
that?
That's not what you said, that in order to have knowledge, you have to have this special kind of knowledge, infallible knowledge, right? And you
Yes.
can't think of any kind of a logical, a formal logical fallacy that would make that argument not valid.
I mean, I didn't even present a formal syllogism, so I don't know why you
You
would go to
you
formal
said,
fallacies.
if you have knowledge, you must have infallible knowledge.
All right, so we'll go through this again. Knowledge is a justified true belief. Would you at least agree with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. In order to have a justified true belief,
Belief.
it must be indefeasible.
Um, why would that be? Why would that be
Because
required?
if you could be wrong about something, then you don't know it.
So it would have to be infallible, right?
Correct. One second. I'm trying to make
Indefeasible.
Omar a mod.
In, right. It needs to be indefeasible, right? In
Yes.
order to have indefeasible knowledge, I have to have indefeasible knowledge. And you can't figure out what's wrong with that.
Wait.
Can
Back
you?
up. Sorry, I'm trying to make Omar a mod here. But you said, so my claim here that we've went through so far is
Yes.
justified true belief, and in order to have a justified true belief, it must be
Must be
indefeasible. Why?
indefeasible.
Because you have to know it's true
Right.
in order
In
for it to be
order it
knowledge.
right.
Okay. So if you
So
could be wrong about the truth value of the proposition that you're saying is knowledge, then you actually don't
right.
know it.
Right. So
So
do I
that's the
have to know that I know it? I have to know that I know it.
well, now you're getting into something completely different. I would just simply say that if you could be wrong about it, then you don't know it.
Right. You're saying that I have to know that I know.
I mean, this is a completely
So that's
different
what you're
topic.
saying.
No, this
No,
is
no,
like
I'm
the
just
KK principle.
no, I'm just restating what you just said.
No, you're not actually
I'm
restating it.
not?
No, because what I just said was that you cannot be wrong about something, that it has to be indefeasible. Knowing
Right.
that
That
you
would
know
be
it gets into some argument about internalism and externalism. That's not what I'm
so
talking
my
about.
so my knowledge has to be
In
indefeasible.
yes,
Indefeasible means that I know that it's wrong, right? And so I have to know that I
no,
know it's wrong
no.
or true.
Indefeasible means that there is no possible defeater.
Right.
Okay.
Do I need to know that there's no possible diffuser?
Yeah, you would need to know that there's no possible defeater. Sure.
So I need to know that I know it.
No, that's completely different.
So I'm just
No. It's
I
a all
feel
right. So look, the
from my point
proposition,
of view, I'm repeating what you're saying in
but you're
just
wrong.
but I'm just substituting words, dude.
Yes, I'm repeating back to what you're saying to me, but I'm using different words. That's not repeating back what you're saying to me.
But you're agreeing that the words are the same, mean the same thing.
No, they
And
don't.
so then
Because
I'm
look,
just
I'll
using a
show it to you.
substitution.
I'll
I'm
show it to
using a
you.
substitution principle, right? Why
I'll
can't I
show
do
it to
that?
you. Because you're actually not repeating it back to me. What you're doing is completely changing the
I'm
argument
not.
and setting up a straw man. But look, I'll explain it to you. When you say I know, I have to know that I know. You're saying I have to know my knowledge claim. I know I have to know that I know X versus just saying I know X, right? This is the KK principle. When you asked me, do I have to know that it's indefeasible? And I said yes. That's not saying that you have to know your knowledge claim. That's saying you have to know that your knowledge claim is indefeasible. It's completely different.
And what is an indefeasible knowledge claim?
Something
One
that
that you know,
cannot be
one
wrong.
that right. So you know that you cannot be wrong, right?
Yeah, you
Could
know
I
that
be ignorant? Could I be ignorant that I could be wrong?
if you're ignorant that you could be wrong.
Yeah, I have a knowledge claim that can't be wrong, but I don't know that I can't be wrong.
Um, no, yeah, then it wouldn't be knowledge.
Right. Right. You really need to like read
All
some
right, so
logic books. You really,
so
really
can
no,
you
you need
provide
to
one claim, one knowledge claim that is
you,
indefeasible?
you need to
Can you
um
provide one knowledge claim that is indefeasible?
honest in all honesty here, you need
I'm not
to
interested in your Yelp
buy
review.
buy
I'm
a
interested in
book
having an
on
argument with
logic
you.
and
I'm
read
going to give you
it.
one more chance, Brenda.
You really do. You're making
Are
yourself
you
look bad,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm making
Really, you
myself look
really
bad.
are.
You
Yes,
dress
you
up as
are.
and pretend to be a woman, but I make myself look bad.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down
Uh-huh.
this road, Brenda. All right? Let's have an
Well,
argument.
the road,
Do you
it,
have any knowledge claim that is indefeasible, yes or no?
well, you have not presented a valid argument. You
Okay,
presented
I'm
a
asking you a
question
question.
begging argument. It's a
Okay, I'm asking
question
you a
begging
question.
argument.
Well, I'm asking you a question now. Are you going to answer it?
Do you know what question begging is?
Are you going to answer my question?
Okay.
Do you have a knowledge claim that is indefeasible?
Yeah.
Okay.
That that I exist
Okay. And how is that indefeasible?
through retortion.
Through retorsion. Go ahead, explain.
Yeah, yeah. Buy a book, read it.
What?
Don't stop reading the Bible. Stop
What can you?
reading apologetics.
All right. So
Get
stop
an
pivoting.
actual logic
Stop
book and
pivoting
read it. It's
and
not a
explain.
pivot,
Yes, it
right?
is.
It's Descartes' cogito that
Oh,
I
the
doubt,
cogito.
that I doubt, I cannot doubt my doubting.
You all right? So when you say I doubt, what are you assuming?
No, I have an experience of doubting, right?
Who's I?
I have, yes, it's me.
Oh, so you're assuming that you exist with the very
No,
first word that
no,
comes out of your mouth in the cogito,
no,
correct?
no, no, that's not how, there's two interpretations of the cogito, and one is a route taken by um, Bertrand Russell, but others have taken a different, which is simply it says that I have the immediate experience of existing that I doubt. I can't doubt that I'm doubting.
Yeah. Again, the very first word is I, correct?
No, the first word is that I doubt
I. I. You just
that.
said I
Right.
doubt.
Yeah.
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 So the very first word is I, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So in when you
Yeah.
say I,
There's somebody doubting.
not just somebody, you said I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now if you want to change it to somebody doubting, you can, but that's going to get you in another trap.
What's the
So,
trap?
well, is that the claim that you're going to make now instead
No,
of I, somebody's doubting?
so do you think that it is possible for you to not doubt?
What?
So the argument that Descartes says is that there's a demon, and that the demon can systematically deceive us on
Okay.
all. He goes through everything, right? And he comes down to the bottom, which is, even though this demon can deceive me on everything, I can't be deceived that I am doubting these things.
And what does that have to do with your existence?
It shows that I exist.
No, no, that's a completely separate argument actually.
And no, no, it's not.
How? When I asked you to provide this indefeasible knowledge claim, you ran to the
Yeah.
cogito, and
Yes.
then after running to the cogito, you said it's indefeasible
Yes.
because you couldn't through retorsion. I'm
Yes.
actually not following here. You're saying that when you say I think therefore I am, or I must be doubting, or I cannot not doubt, that this somehow
Yeah.
proves your existence.
Yeah. He didn't say, I think therefore I am. That was in the Latin text, and he wrote also in French. In the French, it was that I doubt, I cannot doubt that I am doubting, right? So I have an immediate experience of myself as existing. That's the claim.
One second,
It's
I was just
an
bringing
it's an
Schoolboy up. Can you
immediate
repeat that?
it's it's an immediate experience that I exist because I am doubting. As long as I am doubting, I can know that I exist. I am the one that is
Oh,
doubting.
oh. So you're saying then through immediate experience that you must
I can
exist.
know, right, because I am doubting.
Okay. So
I
who is
can doubt.
having this experience?
I am.
Wi-Fi. Can Brenda hear me?
Can you hear Schoolboy Brenda?
Who?
Can you hear the other person on my stream right
Yes, I
now?
can. Yes, I
Oh,
can.
okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a tech genius. Just saying.
The only issue is I can hear myself and Brenda echoing back to me on the stream.
Oh no, you
I do
can't.
not I do not hear any echoes.
I have like 3 streams up right now, so this is so you can hear an echo, Schoolboy, back to You on TikTok?
It's like a delay, and I can hear it back through my audio.
Huh.
It sounds fine for the stream. It's just on your TikTok guest side.
I think it's you. Like you.
Yeah,
can
it's
hear
it's
your
only
own
for
voice.
someone that would be on the panel.
Yeah. Well, no, they would hear it both on TikTok as well. All right. Well, we're gonna have to keep it this way. There's only a couple people watching on TikTok anyway, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's fine. I was just letting you know. Oh, it's fixed now.
Oh, interesting. All right. What were you wanted to say something to Brenda here?
Yeah, like on the topic of Descartes' demon.
Well, on the cogito, actually.
Well, you brought up Descartes' demon, right?
In the context of the cogito.
Right. But if Descartes' demon were true, it's self-defeating. Like, as far as it's a defeater
How
of
so?
knowledge.
How so?
Because if a demon is fooling you, then you no longer have a justified true belief.
Right. That's not the claim. The claim is that I am existing, that I doubt, right? By the act of doubting, I verify that I am doubting,
Why would you doubt
right?
something?
That's not the question.
No,
I
but
am
doubt would
doubting.
entail that there's like a lack of justification in the first place, right?
No, that I am doubting. In order to deny it, right, I have to question it or withhold assent. It's all forms of doubting, right?
But I'm asking, what would bring about doubt?
That's not the question. The point is that the assertion
You
is that
invoked the concept of doubt. So it's fair to
I,
explore what doubt is.
I'm saying it's a reflexive statement. By the fact of doubting, I have to doubt, which affirms that I am doubting. It's a reflexive statement. Can I misspeak? Can I be deceived that I am doubting?
I think doubt would entail that there is deception possible.
Yeah. Could I be
So a lack of
deceived that I'm
justification. So a lack of justification would be a justification for doubt.
no? It wasn't the question. Can I, if I am doubting, can I be deceived that I'm doubting? Because Descartes ran through a list of things, of sensory perceptions and mathematical ideas and other things, and in each one, he said there could be a demon who is systematically deceiving me, even about things like addition in mathematics. I could be systematically deceived, but I can't be deceived by the fact that I'm doubting, because by the very act of doubting, I'm doubting. I can't be deceived.
Yeah, I still don't see how this gets you to how you don't assume your existence in trying to prove it here.
Right. Can you just can you be deceived that you were doubting something? Could you be deceived?
Again, you would have to assume that you exist to even get this far.
Yeah, but could you be deceived about it?
About existing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so? So you could
No.
you could doubt.
This is the problem of
and not
this
exist.
This is the epistemological problem with Descartes' demon. Because if you could be deceived about even your own existence, it makes any knowledge claim impossible.
Right. How could I be deceived about my existence? How's that possible?
Could you be a brain in a vat right now?
Do brains in vats exist?
No, but
could they?
You would have to.
Yeah.
And the claim
it's not
here is that
metaphysically.
Hold on.
Not metaphysically.
The claim here is that you, Brenda, exists in the form that you are saying that you exist in. So if you were
Yeah,
a brain in a
let's.
vat, then that knowledge claim would not be true, and it wouldn't be a
No, it
knowledge
would
claim.
be true. I'm a brain in
So
a vat.
what is I
It,
referring to?
if I'm a brain in a vat, I
So
exist,
you
don't I?
No,
Do I not
Alex
exist?
just nailed it. No, hold on. Alex just nailed it.
No, he didn't.
No, he said because you're saying I could be a brain in a vat.
Yeah. Does the
What is
brain
I?
in the vat, does the
What
brain
is
in the
hey,
vat not exist?
what is I?
No, but that's not the question. Does it exist?
You're invoking other terminology. It's okay for clarification in philosophy to dive into these things that you're invoking.
So if the brain in the vat decides that it can't know if it exists, does it cease to exist?
No, but it wouldn't know unless you're saying you know you're a brain in the vat.
That's not the
Then
question. The
yes,
question
it
isn't,
is.
am I a brain in a vat? That's not the
Is there an
question.
I?
Yeah.
That's not the question. The question isn't, am I a brain in a vat?
So if I
The
say
question
I
is,
know
do
that
I
I
exist?
but what I mean by that is I am Elvis Presley. Is that
No,
knowledge claim true?
no, that's not the point of the cogito. That
I
the
don't care
brain in
what the
the
point of
vat,
the cogito. I'm asking you a question.
that's my argument, right? The brain
No.
in the vat exists whether it, whatever it believes, whether it is being fed information that makes it believes it is a plumber, right, or a fireman.
All right, ready? This
That's
is the
not the
easiest way. This
point.
is the easiest way to
The
explain
point
it.
is that
If I
it
say
exists.
you are Brenda, is that true or false?
Yeah, it's true.
No, I was talking to Schoolboy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it
And
actually
you think
matters with
that's
the
a
you.
valid argument?
It actually
You
matters
think
with the
that's a
you
valid
references,
argument? The
doesn't
No,
it?
man
because
who couldn't figure
no, it
out
was
begging the
Brenda. It was
question.
an epistemological critique about your ability to interpret the
What?
reality that you're encountering.
No, you're not understanding that in a brain and a vat, it exists, right? I have this vat, and inside of it is a brain. The brain is alive and being fed information to systematically deceive it, right?
No, so in all of this
Right?
circumstance, you saying I know that I exist
No,
would
but
have
is
you would have to be referencing something with the I.
no, but does the brain in the vat exist?
Even if I grant that yes, in this scenario, the brain in the
Yes.
vat
And,
exists.
and typically what we mean by that is it's being fed information by some interface that makes it believe it's not a brain in the vat, right? But that brain in the vat could doubt that information, could it not? It could have skepticism and think, maybe all this stuff that I'm being presented isn't real, right? Maybe I'm a brain in a vat. It doesn't know that it's a brain in a vat, but it could hypothesize that, and it could be skeptical. It could apply a skeptical method of systematically doubting everything it believes it knows. But the one thing it can't doubt is that it is doubting.
And how does that get you to that you,
Then
I,
it
the
knows
referent exists? Because that's the knowledge claim.
because you can't doubt that you're doubting,
No. That's
right?
not what I'm asking. What's the knowledge claim here?
Doubt is a privation. It's not a
No, it's
positive
not.
claim.
No, so the claim is here that by the act of doubting, it exists. It can know it exists.
Put it in a proposition. What's the knowledge claim?
I think, therefore, I exist.
Exactly. And so the I
Yeah,
has a referent, does it not?
yeah. To the
Okay.
thing
And what is the
that is
referent?
the thing that is thinking.
Okay. And what is this thing?
How could it be anything other than me?
Is
I
the
am
self?
that thing.
Hold on. Is the concept of self a metaphysical category?
No, but could it be something else that is doubting?
Is the
How
concept
could
of
it?
self a metaphysical category?
Well, could something else think my thoughts?
Is the concept of self a metaphysical category?
Yeah, so what? Could something else think my thoughts for me?
Yeah, actually. Very well.
How?
You ever hear of a
How?
Neuralink?
How- Yeah.
Well,
Does that think my thoughts?
it very well could.
In a purely deterministic framework,
How?
sure.
How does that? That's just repeating the brain
You
in
just
the
asked.
that scenario. It's a
Yeah, you
Cartesian scenario.
literally,
It's a Cartesian
literally.
scenario, right? And I can doubt, right, the input that's coming from my neural link, right? I can doubt that. And by doubting, I know that I am.
But how do you know that that doubt is you?
What else is it?
Who's
Well,
doubting?
if you
Can
just
something else think for me?
Who's
if you
doubting?
just conceded that it is possible for something else to input thoughts into your brain or your mind.
Yes, that's the brain in the vat. That's the
Okay.
Cartesian scenario we've been
So how do
talking
you
about.
distinguish from that thought and the doubt?
Because I can be skeptical about the
Yeah.
beliefs that are being inserted, right?
And how do you know the skeptical thought is you and not the thing feeding you information?
How could it be any other way?
That's not an answer.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What else is doing the thinking?
It literally could be the thing that you just conceded could do the thinking for you.
How?
What do you mean how? Is it logically possible that there could be something that exists that does something to your brain or mind that makes you think you were thinking it?
No, it's not logically
it's
possible.
not logically possible. Give me the
Right,
contradiction.
because it violates the law of identity.
No. You said it's not logically
Yes.
possible, correct?
Yes, it violates the law of identity.
I'd love to hear that,
I am-
by the way. That makes no sense.
I am my thoughts. I am my thoughts.
You are your thoughts.
Yes.
Okay. That makes absolutely no sense.
What do you mean that
So,
makes no
Brenda,
sense? It's an
actually,
identity
Brenda,
relation.
I want to explore that. I want to explore that a little further. If you are your thoughts, if we reach a point in like a technological advancement
It's a
that
tautology.
I can download your thoughts in your.
No, you can't.
I'm saying if it's a hypothetical.
You can't. It's not metaphysically or logically possible for you to download the act of thinking. You
No,
can download my memories.
What if you lived your? Hold on. If you are your thoughts, if you were born from the moment of your birth, were hooked up to a machine that essentially extracted all of that information,
You're
and it
just
were able to be
restating the
decoded
Cartesian
in a.
scenario. Dude,
Hey, let me finish the hypothetical.
It's the hypothetical we've been talking about. It's the Cartesian scenario
Hold
where you
on.
can be skeptical about your
Hold
beliefs
on.
and perceptions.
Hold
right?
on.
So you're just restating it in different ways that you think is going to get you out of the bind, but it's
No,
not
you're
going
not.
to.
You're not even letting me finish the argument. You okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So if from the moment of your birth you were hooked up to a machine, in all of your thoughts and everything that you experienced were downloaded, and we had the technology to then upload that into a blank slate, quote unquote, human being, would that person become you? From the moment of your hold on, let me clarify. From the moment of your birth to the moment of your death, we're not doing this until you've already passed on.
Right.
Would that person be you?
You can't download my thinking.
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, it can't be done. That's my answer to it. You can't. Can you download your CPU?
Well, why can't it be done? Is that a knowledge claim that it can't be?
Do you think you can download your CPU?
I'm saying maybe it's a possibility. Maybe.
You actually think that you can download a CPU? I think
Are you talking like when it comes to like a computer and the way that a computer functions?
Can you download the CPU?
I'm not. I don't know how to build a computer. I don't know the exact function of every single part.
Right. There's the CPU.
I'm asking you because you said that you are your thoughts. You said you are. I am my thoughts. Those are your words.
My thinking that I doubt. I can't doubt my doubting. Right. I can doubt the contents of my beliefs, but I can't doubt the act of doubting. Difference between belief and act, right? You can download files from a computer.
Do you doubt the
Those
self?
are I think the self is constructed in the human brain. It's integrated from various sources within modules within the brain.
That's not my
that all-
question.
yeah, that it's a dynamic it's a sort of a narrative. So yes, there's an inner narrative, an inner dialogue that we construct about what we are.
Do you doubt the self?
As a thing, it doesn't exist. As a narrative, it does.
Self doesn't exist.
As an ontology, I just explained it to you, right? It's a narrative.
But you also earlier in this conversation you
There's
said
no
it's a metaphysical
substance.
category, correct?
There's no substance. It's a narrative.
Is it a
Right?
metaphysical category?
Sure.
So does it exist?
Right? It exists as a category, sure. The same way numbers do.
And how do you ground
Right?
these?
I just told you. It's a narrative. It's grounded in the operation of the human brain. Right? Right?
But
We
if you
tell
doubt the
ourselves-
operation of the human brain,
we tell
if you're a brain in a
ourselves
vat, or if you're just an abstract consciousness being fed information by a demon, you don't know that.
right. I cannot for certainty know that I'm not being systematically deceived, but I can know that by the act of doubting that I exist.
Okay, so do you understand the contradiction here? Because you have again
There's no
invoked.
contradiction.
No, you have invoked the sense of
I've
self.
given you two categories. I've given you two categories. In one sense, right, the demon systematically deceives me. In the other sense, right, I am the act of doubting. That is what I am.
But you doubt the self.
I explained that to you. I said it's a narrative.
But you said I am the act of doubting.
Yes, things that can exist, right?
There's no justification for that. It's literally just gobbledygook.
Do narratives have a metaphysical category? Yeah, they do. They do, right? A story is a metaphysical category, right? It doesn't have an ontology.
Brenda.
Sherlock Holmes
Brandon.
is a story. He's a metaphysical category.
Brandon.
Sherlock Holmes exists as a fiction, but he isn't the words in the books written by Arthur Conan Doyle. He is a metaphysical category. He is a fictional character. He is
Brandon,
a story that we tell.
I'm gonna leave you with this, okay? That's a nice little tangent.
It's not a tangent.
Yourself in the hypothetical that you gave exists in the same sense that your womanhood in reality does.
No. What is this obsession you people have with me being transgender? What does that matter? Why does that matter to you? We're talking philosophy here. What difference does it make to you? I could be an alien from Alpha Centauri. Who the fuck cares? You know, what is your little sexual
Wait, I muted you just because we're on TikTok and I forget exactly what terms you can and can't say, but I think the smexual one is one of them. Schoolboy knows more than I do.
Well, then stop fucking talking about my sexuality, you fucking.
All right. Well, Schoolboy, you still up here? Do I have to restart now or something, Schoolboy? Schoolboy, do I have to restart TikTok? All right, cool. I don't know the rules over here. It's a strange land over in TikTok. What's up, Duck?
Hey, what's up? How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Hanging out.
Nice. Now remind me, do you identify as an atheist?
Yeah, I was actually just talking about this on Alex O'Connor's subreddit a little bit. Um, so the way I would distinguish it is that, being an atheist, like an identity, is different than the choice to be atheist. Sorry, there's a dog barking outside. I'm on mobile, so I hope it's not too loud. But
No
yeah,
worries. I
like
don't hear it.
yeah, like if someone brings up something like it's PSR or it's like an ontological argument for God's existence, I would prefer to be atheist in that moment versus like saying, oh, I have, an atheistic worldview. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either, but I'd rather address the argument in front of me, if that makes sense.
I gotcha. Yeah, so like the prompt I have up here is that under atheism, which just means like atheism isn't a monolithic worldview. I don't believe that, right? Um, but I would say
Yeah,
any
yeah, yeah.
worldview that has atheism as a part of it would have these two issues where they wouldn't be able to actually have knowledge and they wouldn't be able to have moral responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Because from my perspective, like, okay, um, if I am, let's say I'm taking my first like chemistry one or physics one in college or something like that. If you show me a microscope for the first time, I would think that sort of kind of getting what a lens is or like a lensing system, kind of getting the explanation of how like a microscope or something works. I would think that counts as knowledge.
Okay, so you're saying like just kind of a direct experience would count as knowledge?
Well, I don't. It is from the direct experience, right? So, like, um, if I was explaining a microscope to you, like in good faith, I wouldn't say I saw a microscope, so I know what a microscope is. Um, I would never say that. What I would say is that, if you have, qualia or experience about a microscope, and you realize why, someone tells you that, oh, it's basic properties of lenses or magnification, and this is what, in this very simple example, this is what constitutes our quality about the microscope or our experience, is actually these physical facts about the world. I would say that satisfies knowledge.
Right. So under this satisfaction of knowledge, would you be using a definition like justified true belief?
Um, Yeah, I mean, I think if we moved into the philosophy classroom, um, then like, yeah, justified true belief is, I don't personally see anything wrong with going with justified true belief. Um, but someone could be, you could be, sort of, there's different epistemologies, but justified true belief is fine as well.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, because like there's the colloquial use of knowledge, which is kind of like the dictionary definition of just information gained, right? But the argument is a philosophical argument, so yeah, the justified true belief. The problem is when you have a direct experience of something like a microscope, you're relying on empiricism as an epistemology. The problem with that is something that even Bertrand Russell pointed out. Uh, Others obviously as well, but just that. Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, that dog
Just
stopped
had to hide a
barking, by the
mod.
way, Alex. Yeah,
Nice.
the dog stopped barking, so I hopefully audio's a little better on my side too.
Gotcha. So what was I saying? So basically with empiricism as an epistemology, you have to rely on your senses. So if you have to rely on your senses, the problem becomes justifying why your senses are reliable in the first place. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, with the example of a microscope, especially if I'm in school, presumably, I think there is a preponderance of, given sort of the gravity, I would say, or the scope of, kind of what you and I would actually be talking about, it would be fine to say that, well, the microscope worked as someone sort of told me it would. That should only be the case if it is, indeed like they said it was. I assume a microscope. I don't look at a microscope and see something that, from my worldview, I would think an expert assembled this microscope. I would think it was a sort of a subcommittee of experts that sort of designed and sort of discussed and came up with the design and assemblage. And so, I think given all of sort of these facts, no, we're not talking about the lensing technology, but it seems odd to say that I have no knowledge of a particular microscope, and it sounds just as odd to say that, without being an expert, I have no knowledge of microscopes in general at that point in time.
Yeah, but the issue here is that everything you just said has to come through your senses in order for you to then make inferences about it. That's how you receive the information. So you have to rely on your senses for all of those things, whether it's you running tests yourself or you getting conclusions from experts running tests or just experts giving you what they believe is their knowledge. So
And so why and so but yeah, maybe you're about to explain, but what I wouldn't understand as, if that was being brought in so early, I wouldn't understand pertaining to seeing a microscope, why, if I have cognition, if I can think about it, if I can use my language to describe it, if I can deduce from it, maybe somebody has like the basic formula of lens magnification or something, and it's like, well, this is basically what I saw, more or less. I used my senses to sort of see that. I've got cognition and I have metacognition. I can think about the thinking. I cannot think of a scenario off the top of my head where the way I am talking about the microscope isn't exactly like the way I talk about any other sort of knowledge or justified true belief that I hope to come across.
right, and this is all very reasonable if your senses are reliable. But that's the issue is as an atheist, one cannot actually justify the reliability of their senses in the first place. Now, I think that we both have good reason to trust our senses, but it's not because of atheism.
Yeah, so it it I bet so I do think that you and I would probably be able to speak at length about that. I would sure that might be a conversation that I personally would have to prepare more to have that conversation. I would say it, using the same word twice. First, my senses seem to comport to reality. Outside of what I know of, what I know about either quantum physics or sort of the theory that is behind quantum physics that pushes these sort of things out. Most of reality just comports to our senses, and so it's also the case that if reality seems to comport, and if my specific reasoning, then if my sensing, seeming, phenomenological quality about something do comport to my metacognition, all of these different ways I can say or think about it, if those then comport to the simple things I say about microscopes, I don't see this as an epistemic burden that I would have to carry, that, well, sense data just cannot be used.
Well, I'll take it a step further because it doesn't seem like we're getting too far in that point. But
Yeah, sure.
would you say that you could ever have infallible knowledge based on empiricism, based on your senses? Because you said even if I were to grant you that you could have some form of knowledge based on your senses, like they're generally reliable, could you actually ever be know something infallibly through your senses?
Yeah, can you still hear me? Sorry, I had to switch locations real quick.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Um, Okay, yeah. Yeah. No, you and I might actually agree about infallibility. You and I might actually agree about infallibility. So,
Okay.
I think, in philosophy, when people bring up like the formalisms, we might talk about like pure mathematics, or we might talk about like, an identity property or axiom or something like that. Yeah, like that stuff is also sort of one of the things that we have cognition about. And I get cognition isn't the same sense where you're using this sort of term or principle about. And so if I am like placing infallibility out into the world and I'm saying, well, this is one of the reasons why this is, is there is infallible knowledge. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, we could agree on it. We could agree on it, I think.
Well, so the question was, could you have any infallible knowledge when it comes to empirical claims, like things that you see, touch, taste?
No,
No.
Just by, I think just by virtue that, cognition doesn't give us a ton to go off of to begin
Right.
with. But it also doesn't give us nothing, right? So from my
Cool.
view, I don't think, yeah, we
So
disagree then.
I have a hypothetical for you. Let's say that you were playing the lottery, right? And this particular lottery, everybody in America, so what is it, 300 million people, kids included, whatever. They all had to buy a ticket, right? So they all buy a ticket for $1. It's a $300 million lottery. And the organizers of this lottery, they have to pull one ticket, and that one ticket wins the whole lottery. So they put all 300 million tickets in some big raffle machine, and then they pull one ticket out. They put the ticket inside of an envelope, and then they seal the envelope without looking at the ticket. Nobody knows who the winner is. Now, you have an extremely high odd of losing, correct? With your ticket?
Yeah, I would think I would have the same odds of losing and winning as everyone else.
Right, but the odds of you winning are very, very extremely low, 1 in 300 million to be exact. Now, could you say based on that you know that you have a losing ticket?
Um, not in the sense, uh, not in the sense that, it is like the actual state of affairs, right? So
Right, so
I
you could
couldn't
say it
say
in
the
like a
same thing. I
joking
couldn't
way.
say
Like if we were in the lottery together, I could say like, "Oh man,
ticket
you're going
after
to
actually lost.
Oh, you cut out there for a second.
Sorry, I wouldn't. So after my ticket was drawn, after a ticket was drawn and it wasn't mine, I would know for sure I didn't win. But if I couldn't know for sure prior, 1 in 300
Right.
million is not a 0% probability.
Right. All right. So, perfect, cuz that's what I was looking for. Now, uh what would you is there anything empirically that you could claim to know at a greater percentage than your odds of losing that lottery?
Um, yeah. If I had, like, let's say I had priors in that same exact thought experiment, and somehow my close friend, knew the game master or something and switched out 10 tickets for my own. I would know with a greater probability in that same instance that, or it would be, I couldn't say with as much certainty that I would lose if that was the case.
Well, I'm saying like so there's a 1 in 300 million. If you say I know I have a losing ticket or I think I have a losing ticket, there's a 1 in 300 million chance that you're wrong about that statement. Is there any statement you can make, any claim about an empirical anything that you can claim through empiricism that would actually be greater odds than that?
Yeah. So I have a cup of water in my hand right now. There's about there's about 1.5 ounces of water left in my cup. I know that. Uh, You know, we could,
Well, but
if you
it's
want
not
me to say for
infallible like
certain,
you
no, I
agreed
know
to
that for
earlier.
certain. I'm sorry?
But earlier you agreed that it's not, that wouldn't be infallibly known. So you could be wrong
Right.
about it, right?
Yeah, in the sense that infallibility, you know, that's not a word I would normally use, but yeah, I don't infallibly know I'm holding a cup of water.
And it's in the same way that you would say, I know I have a losing ticket, but because you could be wrong, it wouldn't be infallible.
Um, okay, yeah. I mean, you know, I could say that, well, you know, saying that I know I have a cup of water, one does so for reasons. There's explanations that we relate to, that our cognition and metacognition, our intuitions or discerningness about holding a cup of water is just that way.
Well, yeah, and I think it
That's
would be
sort of the
annoying.
naturalist position.
I think it would be annoying if we just went around saying, well, I think I'm holding a cup of water, right? You'd be like, this dude's weird.
Yeah, it's not typically like, you know, but I do think, you know, the difference is, I think if because we're friends, right? You know, I see, you know, we see each other on different panels and stuff, but like if I like if we're talking, I could say I'm infallibly holding water, but I'm using a grammatical, you know, I'm using grammar. It's like I'm writing Harry Potter in some sense.
I'm not. I didn't get that part. Say that again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because like there's no problem to me that like two friends can talk and say things like infallible, right? This is, you know, and so if I am talking about holding a cup of water and saying that, well, you know, in the context of like either cosmology or the context of experimental physics, you know, where we actually go out and prove things about the universe, or microscopes, you know, it is analogous to say it's like you and I are sort of writing a novel together, right? We're being creative together.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, but my whole point is that if you don't know that you have a losing ticket, like you said earlier, then you also don't know that you have that cup in your hand. Because even though there's a 1 in 300 million chance you could be wrong, like you could be dreaming, or Cartesian's demon was brought up earlier. Um if you can't know that you have a losing ticket, then you also can't know that you have that water in your hand. And the ticket can even the
So what
hypothetical.
if I rephrase? But okay,
Go ahead.
so I sort of understand your point, but what if I reframed this and said, well, look, you know, someone is allowed, someone like Alex is allowed, you know, to, and a lot of people, right, are allowed to say, you know, the sort of litmus test, the way that we actually ask about a winning lottery ticket or an ordinary sensed experience like holding a cup of water, is infallibility. We're asking in either case about infallibility, and what that has to mean in the world. But if I say that, well, you know, in my version of reality, and I believe it's the same reality for all of us, you know, we might say that, you know, the universe that we have gives us a 99.9999999% chance that this cognitive perception in particular, is exactly what the world can be said to be like at that time. You know, and if we're talking about the particles in the cup of water, we are not having the same conversation. And so,
The problem
you
with
know,
that.
my well, no, there isn't a problem, because my version of infallibility is saying that, you know, the Bayesian, you know, interpretation of what the words I'm saying actually mean, basically as as much as anything could, 100% comport to me holding a cup of water.
Okay, so then you would have to change your original answer that you do know that you have a losing ticket.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I would be, I think, you know, yeah, if I misstated that to begin with, I don't know what I said originally or how I answered, but yeah, basically I think I would have a losing ticket.
no, so there's the difference. You said you think. You would have to say, I know I have a losing ticket.
But why do I have to use a word such as certainty in that case?
Well, I mean, I think you can even tell that it goes against just your intuition to say that you have a losing ticket without being 100% sure, because there
No,
is
but
that 1 in 300 million chance.
okay, but to me in the first place, this isn't like some holy predicament, right? This is not a like this isn't like, in the case of like a Pascal's wager or something, one has to have faith such that, such that it is perfect and divine, right? This isn't like a holy case of things. I'm allowed to use empiricism. I'm allowed to use my senses. I'm also allowed to say that I don't need to have certainty about this specific situation or whatever it is that is actually going on here.
You're allowed to say whatever you want, but those things are actually proving my prompt true. Because what I would say is that uh, through revelation, through some sort of God, you don't even have to get specific. But if God were to infallibly reveal something to you, such that you could know it for certain, that would be infallible knowledge. That would be true knowledge. That's the only way to actually have true knowledge, is to either be God yourself or to get revelation from God. Because infallibility implies indefeasibility, which just means that there's no possible way you could be wrong about it.
Well, but
And
but
and
but but
that's
it's also possible I'm allowed to believe that meaning exists, and
sorry, that was my computer. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm allowed to. So I also think that, this is getting a little more into the weeds, but I think I'm allowed to be a nihilist about certain types of knowledge claims. I can say I don't know. I don't know for certain if time exists or time does not exist. I don't know if time exists in the cosmos, and it would turn out, in some sense at least, 99% of physicists would agree with me. 99% of physicists would agree there is a sense where we just don't know, and we cannot know if time exists. But that doesn't mean that 99% of physicists don't believe they're holding a cup of water, or don't believe that a 1 in 300 million chance of a lottery ticket is, as much as it's about the lottery ticket, it is not quite a 0% thing. It's not quite certain.
Yeah, so you wouldn't know it then, right?
Uh, I mean, I would say, yeah, not knowing something is okay with me, as I'm okay not knowing stuff most times.
Right, and I think that's a humble mindset to have. But the problem is when you go into full skepticism and say, I don't know anything, because that's a self-defeating statement, right?
I wouldn't describe it as self-defeating, but again, for the same reasons that I just don't think, like, if I were to cognate or metacognate around something, sorry to sound pretentious, but if I were to have thoughts about my thoughts regarding something, um, saying something is self-defeating implies that it itself is not a system, if that makes sense.
No, what I mean by self-defeating is just that the statement undermines itself. So it's like saying I'm broke when you have $1 million in cash in your hand. That would be self-defeating. And so like in the same way, saying I don't know anything, you're actually making a knowledge claim that you don't know anything. So that's why it would be self-defeating. And it could actually be put into a formal contradiction at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's also the case that, one of the reasons we disagree about this is that if I am saying I think something is self-defeating, and it is based upon me as the measure of, we all have to sort of be responsible for our beliefs and stuff like that, right? It's like, I can't say I believe in charity and then never give to charity. But there's another view in philosophy where, if I again weigh the possibility that, the first beingness that I see, that sort of first ontology or the first thought itself is a thing, you and I don't agree that that sort of beingness is necessary. I don't even think that saying it is contingent is really, I would say it is non-essential. I would say that sort of first preponderance of a person that holds knowledge is non-essential.
Until the very second you say that, you're making a knowledge claim. So you're saying, I know that it is non-essential for anyone to know anything, for there to be a person that knows things.
No, because the container's missing. If the container is missing, then there's nothing. Then it's not
What's
a knowledge
the container
claim.
here?
A container is a self or a person that that like relative to how we mean someone to say something is known. It is the container that is said to know or have known that thing.
Because you're the person saying it.
Okay, so that's a difference of opinion. If I have to weigh the prior probability, if I have priors about myself, versus saying priors about just our ability to communicate ideas and sort of reach a consensus, there's a huge difference there.
Well, I mean, consensus has nothing to do with knowledge.
Yeah, not directly.
Yeah. We could all
I
be
do think
wrong.
evidence it can be, right? Newtonian physics are a great example where one is only capable of having knowledge about Newtonian physics, but Newtonian physics itself is not about the universe. Even like something like holding a cup isn't about Newtonian physics, even though it seems like it should be. I don't know if that answers your question, but
I'm sorry, say that one more time. My wife just texted me.
yeah, like if I am holding a cup or something like that, that is not Newtonian physics. Newtonian physics is not some theory that is out in the world, and so just again to kind of maybe this is a banana for scale a little bit. I forgot how we got into this conversation here first. But yeah, that was my first or my second point or third or fourth, whatever it was how how it sort of how it makes sense to say that the fact that, okay, so if I know that Newtonian physics takes 2 years to get really good at, if you are super physics minded, you maybe get really good at like most of Newtonian physics in maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like this. You basically have you're the top engineering student. Are we still here?
Yeah. Sorry, I just closed out TikTok because nobody was watching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and so
We're still live on YouTube.
Yeah, so if I was the top physics student and it takes me 3-4 years to know Newtonian physics and I don't know anything else, um, I it seems like this is, if you want to say what atheistic knowledge is like, knowing that I know Newtonian physics, but for all of that work, I don't know anything about metaphysics or reality. That's a pretty high bar, dude.
Yeah, and I would say that we can colloquially use the word knowledge to mean certain things. Like when I talk about infallible knowledge, I'm talking about something called infallibilism, which is a branch, not a branch of epistemology, but it's like a subset of epistemology. And there's a discussion between infallibilism and fallibilism. And the thing is that it's actually not much of a difference between the views. It all boils down to someone saying that under infallibilism, you can only say that knowledge is things that you know indefeasibly or infallibly. Infallibilism says, no, you can know things fallibly. But both make a distinction between strong and weak knowledge. The problem is the fallibilist fails because he never actually presents an example of strong knowledge. So that's kind of the entire prompt without me trying to get deeper into the philosophy of it. But I would. There's actually a paper called "The Myth of Knowledge." I don't know how I could get you a copy because I was cheap and I bought the $20 version that only lets you access it through a website. Maybe I could get you my login, but I think it would be very helpful, and we could, if after you read that, we could have a another conversation about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, feel free to like Discord me the paper. But like
What's your
Travis
name on
Pangburn is
Discord? Do I have you already?
it's Duck McButt stuff. I don't know. I'll check my DMs. I feel like I might have messaged you or something. But yeah, like Travis Pangburn does a lot of the fallibilism stuff. To me, it almost seems like it's overkill. To say that knowledge has this quality. It's like, well, if we are using, to me, one of the reasons why I don't identify as a fallibilist, and really I think it's more of a tool to use, is like if I'm saying that cognition, is relevant to 99.99999% of cases that 99% of people discuss knowledge, it just is the case that that there is not such a thing as 0%, 0 or 100% probability. We always have priors, and priors are about probability.
Yeah, but even the probability is against you. Because you would have to know that a certain thing, like if you were talking about anything of probability, like if you know something is 99.9% probable, but you only knew that at a 99.9% confidence, then it would just boil down to 1% eventually. You would just get stuck in an infinite regress that led you to really only 1% probability. Because 99.99 divided by 99.99 to infinity ends up getting to zero, almost to zero.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I buy a size shoes in either size 10 and 10 and a, or 10 and a half. And so maybe this is evidence that, I'm living in an absurd world that I don't even technically know my own shoe size. Um, but it's, like the fact that we appear to observe the universe, and I can say that I see shoes, and I don't, when I see shoes, I'm not having, I don't have cognition about the universe that I'm observing. If I want it to seem as if shoes are some part of a cosmological story, right? That's not typically what someone is doing when they're buying shoes in the correct size.
No,
And
I
so
think
I to
that's
me,
totally fair, because I think that you're right. That we all live life as if we know things. The problem is atheism can't justify it. That's my whole issue. So it's nothing wrong with you living your life the way you do. That's how we all live. The problem is the worldview that you hold, specifically atheism, isn't aligned with the with how you live your life.
but it is. If the case isn't that you and I are talking about shoe sizes or lottery tickets, but for me, we're talking about animal welfare. We're talking about, within our generation's children's lifetime, you know, in some places, things like animal welfare and animal rights are discussed vigorously, or we're talking about conflict. The seemings that are about instead God or perfection get in our way of rationally understanding what it is that we're talking about.
You think that discussions around, and sorry if I misunderstood you. You think that discussions surrounding God are distracting from real world problems?
Yes,
Why
110%.
so? Are
So
you
so
aware of the stats of those who are more religious when it comes to not only local politics but geopolitics, charity, and all of those things?
um table that for just a second, but I'm happy to hear your statistics and we can talk about it if you want. Here's the sort of the argumentative framing is, look, if my mother, your mother and father tell you about the church, they tell you about religion. one can never have certainty that they're telling you about that what they're telling you about isn't something about society. It isn't about behavior. It isn't about norms. And so, as a very crass sort of introduction to religion, this is also a very crass way to have first seemings about faith. And when the object of that faith is supernatural superstition, as well as language, as well as sort of cognitive patterns around that superstition, I would not trust that same type of person um, to be an authority, or to have any credit because of their religion about complex issues, which require granularity, which require being able to manage sort of that affective, cognitive stuff. I also wouldn't, I wouldn't want to hear, I would have zero interest in hearing any faith-based approach to any issue regarding the well-being of any being, period. I have zero interest in that.
All right, would you also have zero interest if the data showed that the people who care more about this fictional character, even granting that it's fictional character of God, actually do more good for the world than those who don't?
I would have a hard time believing that the data itself is not either very specific, very particular, and I would have zero faith or confidence that that data is being communicated accurately. I would also have zero confidence that, given that this is an example of empiricism, where we are going out, we have data collection methodology, all that kind of crap. I would say, from my perspective, it's like, well, the world itself doesn't necessarily have a worldview. It's different, and so saying that religious individuals are not, but individuals are not the same as a complex system, right? I can't just
They make
put
up the
Barack,
system.
but no, but I can't just put Barack Obama in the middle of George Bush's God-fearing Afghanistan and Iraqi campaign. And all of a sudden, because Barack Obama is a nice guy, because he could organize to some extent in, what is a very resilient city with some above average crime and things like this, Barack Obama doesn't instantly solve that situation because he is competent or equipped to solve that situation.
Okay, but what does that have to do with, because the original question that I asked you, and I understand you said you would have issues with the data, do you want to make sure it's actually correct, but the hypothetical I asked you was, if the data shows that those who are more religious do more good for the world than those who aren't, would it then be interesting to you to talk about this religion? Would you then encourage these religious discussions?
So no,
Remember,
no, right? That sounds to me like Christian thinking. It's simplistic. I would say that that prison statistics that show the majority of people in prisons are Christians, those are victims of religion. Those are victims of religion right there. We see them, and they are not alone in the world.
well, that's again, it's kind of a pivot. I asked you a very specific question. If it were true,
But
so that's the hypothetical. If it were true, you're operating in a world where those who are more religious do good for the world, do more good for the
yeah,
world than those who
yeah,
aren't. If
yeah.
that's
So
the
my
world we
answer,
live in, would you then encourage religious discussions?
but that wasn't the hypothetical. The hypothetical was that you show me 1 or 10 studies. It could be 110, it could be 100 studies that show Christians do these good things. This does not describe what the world is like. This doesn't describe what society or civilization is like. Um, you know, that isn't what social science is. Why
No,
would it
like
be that,
there's
is there deep state? No, Alex, is there deep state conspiracy? Is this why there isn't a Christian theory, right? There's not a Christian theory taught in schools because one does not exist, right? You have Christian nationalism, which is an ideology that is a combination of white supremacy and neoconservatism, right? So you have Christian nationalism, which is this ethno-fascist ideology, but that is not a social scientific theory.
All of the universities that you would know the name of in America were started based on Christian theory.
That's still itself is only partially true. John Dewey, when we by the time we get to very still early in U.S. history in the 19th century, you already have William James, who I'm sure you know, taking over. You have Charles Saunders Peirce, who is miles above in terms of intelligence and accomplishment than William James and John Dewey. And John Dewey himself, again, often quoted, and this doesn't even make sense of other people that have contributed to the institution of education in the United States.
Yeah, but again, it's not every single
But
one,
is that what you
especially
mean?
newer
Is that what
ones.
are we? Well, are we talking about the institution of education and the people and the places? Like, how in depth are we going into that conversation?
Yeah, the majority of the Ivy League schools were started to breed ministers, and they did a damn good job at it. And obviously, a lot of them have turned extremely liberal. But here's the thing: we got way off track. I will send you that. I couldn't find your Discord, so you could add me at Wi-Fi Gospel, and I'll accept it, and I'll send you that paper somehow. But
Let's do it.
I have a brisket that I'm smoking on the smoker right now for Thanksgiving tomorrow. So I got to go check on that. I got to end this stream. But I do appreciate talking to you, Duck.
Yeah, I was excited to see you on mobile. I love the format. I love your PC streams too, because you do these longer conversations. So for me, it's all good. It's all good. And have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you. You too, Duck. Have a good one, man.
See ya.
Bye. Terry, I can give you 7 minutes because I just told Duck I was heading out. Is that cool?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've got 7 minutes.
Cool. Sounds good, man. Are you an atheist?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an agnostic, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that your God doesn't exist.
Gotcha. So the prompt that we're talking about tonight is that under atheism, humans have no knowledge or moral responsibility.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear-
that's ridiculous. That's
Okay.
silly.
Why is that ridiculous?
Because I don't need someone to tell me that it's wrong to do something wrong. Like I don't even people who yeah.
I get what you're saying.
First of all,
you don't need God to tell you what's wrong,
I already
right?
know. My God, I already know that. I don't need an old book to tell me that. You know, even especially an old book that has such horrible things that God told people to do.
Can you explain to me then, in your view, what is morality?
What is morality?
Yeah, you don't need like a super succinct definition. But.
Morals are I think it's morality is knowing what's right and wrong. Isn't that pretty close? Do you think?
Yeah. The reason I ask is because I don't want to misrepresent you, and some people have different answers.
Right.
So when you say right and wrong, you are using objective language. Do you believe in objective?
Sure. Objective morality. Yeah. When I say right and wrong, yeah. See, that's the thing. Is it right for here? Is it right for the lion to eat the giraffe baby?
I would.
Well, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead and. I'll give that question to you. Go ahead and see.
Yeah, I thought you were asking me. Sorry.
Sure.
I would just say. Yeah, I would just say that animals interacting with each other is actually amoral. So it's not moral or immoral, because they're not moral agents.
Okay. There's no moral question there. Yeah. Okay. So is it right for people to eat a sheep?
Yeah. So now you're asking. I would say yes. It is morally acceptable to eat meat.
Well, there are people. Okay, how about this one? Can I ask you another question? And you're welcome to ask me some questions too. There are some people in India along the Ganges River who eat their dead.
Yeah, I would
Is
say that's
that
wrong.
right?
No, that would be wrong.
Why? But why?
Yeah, so this off of my worldview, we would be basing this off of Christian ethics.
Okay, because the book or God told you that that's wrong, right?
Well, yeah, even if I grant that my morality is just my own preferences, I'm asking for your stance here. Because
Okay.
if you're just trying to get at like we both believe in subjective morality, that's fine. I can work with that. The issue
Well,
here is
yeah, it's. I believe morality is subjective. Of course, that's why I started out with the lion eating the lamb because I said giraffe, but uh, isn't it a silly idea for the lion to lay down with the lamb when lions eat lambs? You know,
yeah, that's
it
also just
wouldn't have.
metaphorical language.
Okay, let's forget about
But
that.
anyway, yeah. So here's the thing. If morality is subjective, there actually is no such thing as morality, and I can explain it like this. When you say morality is subjective, usually people boil that down to preferences. So you'll say, I think that something is wrong. Like, I think that stealing is wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But when you say, I think, and then you say something is wrong, what you're saying is you believe that something is actually not aligned with reality. For example, if I say,
Oh.
I think 2 plus 2 equals 5, is that a subjective opinion?
No, that's incorrect. That's an objective thing. Two
No.
apples plus two more apples is four apples.
But is it true that I believe 2 plus 2 equals 5?
Well, sure. If you really believe that, then it's true. I can't
Right.
know that you believe it just because you said it.
But even though that's a subjective belief, right, I'm still
Sure.
talking about something that exists in reality. So you can't do
Sure.
that with morality. If you say that morality is subjective, what you're actually saying is that
Why can't
moral
you do that
facts,
with morality? Why can't you do that with morality?
because what you're saying when you say morality is subjective is you're saying that there are no moral facts, correct?
Yeah.
So a moral fact
Well, I mean,
is
I sort of think I think I can sort of agree with you, but what is a moral fact? I mean, really, the reason why I say that morality is subjective because a the way someone feels about something, uh, yeah, that's it.
yeah, it's
Morality is like it's a good very weird area to talk about.
yeah, and so that's why my prompt says
Yeah.
there's no moral responsibility under atheism, because if all morality is just your preferences and my preferences, why would I be responsible to what you prefer?
Oh, that's a good point. Why would somebody try to outlaw uh, an act? Like say abortion. Why would you be responsible for what I prefer? Yeah,
Right. So then you could take
if it's
that logic
subjective.
to every law. But I'm not even
So what
talking about
you're
that.
saying?
There's listen,
Are you saying that is your position that morality is objective?
well, I'm just saying that under atheism there's no moral responsibility. That's my argument. That's my claim.
Well, wait. You're talking about subjective, objective morality. Which one what do you think morality is, subjective or
So if I were to
objective?
talk, yeah, I'll humor you here. If I were to talk about what I believe morality is, I do believe morality is objective, but I wouldn't start
Okay,
with
thank you.
morality to prove that. I would prove
Uh,
God first before I went to morality.
okay, go ahead and try to do that for me because I already know that God doesn't exist.
All right, so
It's silly.
I'm over the time, but I can do this very quickly.
Mm,
All right.
sure.
Um, God, unless there is a God, there is no knowledge. How do I know that? Knowledge is a
Yeah.
justified true. Knowledge is a justified true belief. That's the philosophical definition of knowledge.
Okay.
In order to have a justified true belief, you must believe the proposition. You must have a good reason to believe the proposition, and it must be
Mhm.
true. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Could I know that Hillary Clinton is the current president of the United States of America?
You can't know that. No.
Right, because it's not true, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, can you know something if you could be wrong about it?
No, you can't
Right.
know it for sure. No,
Okay.
sir.
And then, as an atheist, is there or an agnostic, is there any way without God that you could know something infallibly?
Yeah. There are some things that you can't know, but there are some things that you can know.
No, I'm talking about infallibly. That you already said that in order to know something, you could not be wrong about it.
Sure. Yes, there are some
So,
things, but
what's
not
something
everything.
you know that you can't be wrong about?
Well, I know that the sky is blue.
Okay, and now could you be colorblind?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you
I
could
hear
be
you.
wrong about that, right?
Uh, there are. It's so that's really a subjective thing. The color is a subjective thing.
Pick another thing.
Yeah. I like where you're going here. I know that if I drop a rock, if I let go of a rock at my shoulder level, it'll fall towards the center of the earth.
And how do you know that?
Because it never falls up. Nobody's ever seen it fall up.
So it would be based on the principle of induction. The problem is, have you ever
What
heard?
is what induction?
So induction is basically making an inference about something based on its past behavior.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. So have you? Hume is famous. One of the things he's famous for is his problem of induction. How
Yeah.
can you know the future based on the past?
How can I know the future based on the past?
Yeah.
I can't really, but I can have a good idea.
So, but you could be wrong
But
about the future, even if the past
oh
is
yeah,
completely
oh yeah.
uniform. Yeah. So then you
There's
actually don't know what you just said about
like
dropping
we're
a
talking
rock.
about entropy. That's true, but it's easier to prove something. Uh, you're good. You're good. You know.
I got 1 minute left. I'll leave you with this, all right? Because I would say that the reason you can't be an atheist and be consistent is because I think I've demonstrated that you can't have knowledge under atheism because you can't have indefeasible knowledge. But let me ask you this. If God revealed something to you such that you would know it for certain, could you know it?
No.
Why
How
not?
could I know it for certain?
If God revealed something to you such that you were certain about it, could you know it?
In other words, if God implanted an idea in my brain that I was sure about something, then would I know that? Then
Right,
I
so like
wouldn't know it because somebody implanted something in my brain. I couldn't know. I can't know anything for certain.
all right, pretend I know all things, right?
Wait, we're getting into a conjecture here.
Well, hold on, real quick. Let
Okay,
me just.
I'll do it. I'll pretend.
All
I'll
right.
pretend that you know all things. Yeah.
So I know all things,
Hmm.
and now, if I know all things, and I know all possible things. So
Okay.
if I tell you I know X, do you now know X?
No, because even if you know all things, I can't believe you, and plus, I don't even believe that you know all things.
Well, if I were able to reveal something to you such that you could know it for certain, would you know it?
No, like I said, I can't know anything for sure. How can I know that this revelation that you've given me is
Well,
right?
hold on. You said you can't know
Maybe you're
anything for
not real.
sure?
I can't know. I can't know anything for sure. No.
Do you know that for sure?
Well, I don't even know that for sure. But I
Right.
haven't
So then
decided
the
that I
statement is
can know
wrong.
everything. Anything. What?
If you don't even know that for sure, then you actually don't know that you can't know anything for sure.
Well, just because I don't know it for sure doesn't mean that I can't that it's no. It's the closest that I can get to being sure.
But you just said
I've
that
learned
you
how
can't.
to get yeah.
You just
Yeah.
said that if you could be wrong about something, then you don't know it. So if you don't know it for sure, then you don't know it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get. I'm trying to know stuff as well as I can. I'm
Right,
not trying
but
to just
that's just a
believe
belief.
somebody that tells me something.
That's
Right?
just a
It is.
belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
why
what's
I'm
that?
here, because we're talking. I think that your belief is silly, and you think my belief isn't. Whatever you think about my belief.
But here's the thing. If you only have beliefs, then you would have to say that you don't know anything, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I just said. I don't know
Right.
everything for anything for sure. Yeah.
All right. So then if you don't know anything, that's a contradiction because you're saying that you
Well,
know that you don't know anything.
uh, uh, right. So
So
I already explained that I don't even know
should
that for
you
sure,
hold
but it's the closest that I can get. It makes more sense to me than
But
anything else.
here's the
What's
infinite regress. Do you know that you don't know that you can't know anything for sure?
well, I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know
Yeah,
that I know
that's
that
the
you know.
infinite
Now,
regress.
really, but here's the thing. For me, the whole
I
idea
do have
that
to go in 2 minutes,
uh,
but I'll give you the floor for two
Occam's
minutes.
razor. Okay, Occam's razor. Whatever is the simplest explanation is more likely to be true
Why?
because it is. Why
Here,
why complicate things?
well,
You're a very good
I do
philosopher.
here.
Philosophy is very. This is very. Yeah, it's you know. I have to take notes. Can we do this again?
Absolutely. So I'll be live Monday, but
Okay.
I won't be debating on Monday because I host it for my
Yeah.
friend Joel. But I'll be live on this stream.
Hmm.
You can talk to Joel. But Tuesday I'll be live again as well.
Is it? Will he be debating atheists as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Uh, and how do I find him?
So his YouTube is the Think Institute, but I'll be live on my stream as well.
Okay, you'll be
Yeah.
right at your stream that I noticed you at. Okay,
Yep. It was a pleasure to meet you,
okay,
Terry, and I
great.
had a wonderful conversation with you.
Monday, what time Pacific time? What
Oh,
time?
so Monday it's a later stream. I start at 11 Eastern. On Tuesday I'll start at
Okay,
10.
11 Eastern. Let's see, we're see when the sun's already gone down, so it'll be earlier over here, right? Wait,
Yeah, are you
no, the
Central
sun
Time
goes.
or?
I'm in the West Coast.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're probably 3 hours behind me. So it'll be like 7 p.m.
Okay,
If you're
that
like
means
closer to
yeah,
California.
that's perfect. Okay, more.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm in Oregon, so okay.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, I'll try to be there. That'd be fun. I'm enjoying this very much. I want to get good at debating. Because I want to do something like yours, but in a political sphere. But I'm very I've gone through the whole. I've been there.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Christianity
be doing
to
political
me.
debates as well too. So I'd love to talk to you about some of that stuff
Okay,
as well.
okay, sure. What's your leaning? What side do you lean to here in America? Are you
I'm
politics?
definitely right leaning.
Yeah.
I'm fairly new to politics, although I've been studying it a ton.
Hmm.
My
Hmm.
focus has been on immigration, so that's what my streams will be on.
Yeah. All right, that's very interesting. Okay, okay. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
Yeah. Very
my
nice to
friend.
meet you, Terry.
Yeah, it's good to know you, Alex.
Yeah,
Is it
Alex.
Alex?
Yep.
Okay,
Alex is
great.
good.
Good to talk to you.
Good
Okay,
to
take
talk to you
care.
too. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. I do have to go tend to my brisket, but I want to shout out Richie and Joel for the $5 and $10 super chats. Let's read them real quick. Oh no, I don't even know where they went. I think. Oh, what did Richie say? Oh, Richie said something about atheism being stupid. It is stupid. W Richie. Joel said something about my name having 100 X's in it, and then he said I was cool and handsome and the best person he ever knew, or something like that. W Joel. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out and watching. We got three guests. It was Brenda and Duck. It was an all right conversation with Duck. Brenda crashed out there at the end. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Well, wait, maybe I can show you guys my brisket. You want me to show you my brisket? Ready? I could do this. Screen capture. At source. Screen. What version of atheism should we appeal to? All right, ready? You guys want to see my brisket? Sounds weird, doesn't it? Watch this. Yeah.
You guys can hear me? Yeah, you can. All right. Oh, I'm old. I got a bad back. Can I switch my camera around? Yeah, I can. All right, all right. Ready? This is what we've been working on. I gotta wrap it at $1.65. Oh, let's see. Do I need a light? It's only at 156. So probably gotta turn the heat up a little bit. It's been on there since 5 p.m. It's almost midnight. Oh, I can't put the flashlight on, but God, you can't really see it that well. That black pepper bark, though. Oh, and we got the turkey brining. Yeah. But now I can't see your messages, so I'll go back downstairs and see what y'all said. Hold up.
Yeah, looks good, right? Yeah. My wife can't cook, so if I want something delicious, I have to cook it. But don't tell her I said that. Yeah, I'm not actually in space. I know, it's crazy, right? It's a green screen. All right. Have a good night, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to start doing streams Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, 11 p.m. on Mondays. But I'm going to be doing some political streams as well. Those usually get a lot more views anyway. But I wasn't prepared for it tonight, so I did atheism because I'm much more prepared for that in general. We're going to do some immigration streams once I'm well prepared enough. Have a good night, guys. Oh, darn it, my eyes lied to me. That's hilarious. Nice callback. That was good. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. God bless.